Hi guys, so I just want to talk to you about the unmounted videos that you will see down below that you can use at home to get your mind and body in the correct state before you actually go and ride on your horse. So I just want to explain why they are so effective. So what we're doing is we're creating a new feeling and a new behaviour based on a thought. So at the moment, if you've had a bad experience with, say, the canter, as soon as you think of cantering, your thought is going to be linked with a feeling and a behaviour. So if you had a bad experience, the feeling is you're going to be feeling quite nervous and tense, and you usually will feel that up here, and then your body will tense up. And then the behaviour will be when you're on your horse and you're thinking you've got to canter, as I said, your body is going to tense up immediately, and then of course that gives a reaction to your horse. So it's a bit of a vicious circle. So sometimes, in fact probably 90% of the time, it is easier to change the behaviour by doing it off the horse, because it is the same thing. You know, we can practice linking a new thought with a feeling and a behaviour off the horse and get it really ingrained in our brains, and then we can do that on the horse to make life easier. Let me explain it in one of my analogies. So if your thought of riding a canter is quite scary, remember your emotional level is going to go that high very quickly, in which case it's really hard to kind of bring that emotional level down through using a different set of thoughts. So by doing the unmounted exercises, we're learning to control the emotional response, but we're also creating a new neural pathway. So if we look at pathways like you've seen in the previous videos, so your pathway will be doing that kind of motion, a straight motion if it's a very strong emotional reaction. So we need to divert that pathway to go down a different route. So rather than take it up that direct straight route by getting on a horse and feeling all fearful than trying to contain it, it's easier to teach our brain to go in this way off our horses, by controlling the emotional response and doing it a few times, or quite a few times, so that it becomes an ingrained pathway, if you like, so that, you know, the brain can then choose which way it wants to go, as opposed to sort of diverting automatically to that top one. And then when you're on your horse, because you've already practiced what to do in the canter, you'll find that it will become easier. Now, the first couple of times you might be a little bit worried, but you won't be half as worried as what you were before when you were trying to practice the canter without doing the unmounted exercises at home. So I hope that kind of explains how powerful the unmounted exercises are. And remember, we talked about visualization. You know, visualizing and doing creates the same process in the brain. Doing it unmounted creates the same process in the brain as doing it on the horse. The only thing that we're changing is the feeling. So the feeling off is going to be different to the feeling on the horse. But that's fine, because that's only one thing out of the three. So it's quite easy to then, you know, focus on the thought and the behaviour, and then start to listen to the feel of the horse and start to relax. So it's easier than changing all three at the same time. So have fun with the exercises. There are some fun ones in there, and as I said before, it's probably best you do them behind closed doors so that no one can see you. But it's a brilliant way, and the good thing about doing unmounted exercises is you can do these any time of the day, whenever you want. Just plug in the video, play whichever one you want to do, and have a little unmounted session in your house with the doors closed, and then do that, you know, condition yourself to do that every day for 5, 6, 7 days, whatever you feel is right. And when you think you've really got a hold of the controlling the emotional response, then go out and try and practice that on your horse. And I'll let you into a secret. I used to be really rubbish at canter, really rubbish at canter. I would always tip up, my right leg would raise and grip, the left leg would be further down. I just couldn't find the rhythm at all whatsoever. So I conditioned my brain to do it unmounted, and I worked on it, and I did work on it for quite a long time because I did it in a specific way. But I learned how to canter by doing it unmounted. So I watched lots of professionals cantering. I mimicked what they were doing at home. I used a lot of visualization. I focused on different areas of my body, not being on my horse, so focused on where my legs needed to be, what my pelvis needed to do. I just watched and inputted a lot of information into my brain, practiced it at home, and then I practiced it on my horse just to get a feel of his movement, get a feel of what I need to do, and every time that it felt really good, and it felt like we were together, I kind of mentally recorded that part so that I could try and do it again and replicate it. And it took probably a little while, but it's taken me a good sort of 3 or 4 months of doing that to now being able to get on my horse, ask for a canter, and know that I can sit back and sit with the rhythm and move with him. And in fact, now we're walking on walk, canter, walk, because I know exactly where my body is placed and where it needs to be, so that I know where to block and how to push him, what response I need to get to put him into walk. So all of these things are things that I've done myself, so I know that they work, but also they are great tools to be able to use, so that you don't need to be on the horse and worrying about your emotions and how that's affecting your horse. Practice it at home. Practice at home. Get a real feel for it. Really embed the thought, the feeling and the behaviour. That's what we're concentrating on. And let me know how you get on.